I think more often than not, we try to reach goals without considering the path that we're going to take. Alright guys, so as you saw in the thumbnail, calories are going back up. I'm not going to continue the pattern of the backwards diet that I had initially planned, and I kind of want to talk about why. And this video is going to be a lot of talking, so I'm sorry for no fun skit at the beginning or any of that, but I hope you get something out of it, and I hope you watch it. I hope you share it. I hope you like it. I hope you subscribe to the channel so you can get more of things like this. But I kind of want to talk about it because I have mixed feelings about it. So this is more of like one of those somber videos. So kind of buckle up and enjoy the ride. So I am one of those people that when I decide to do something, I want to finish it, right? And the only time that I don't finish it is when it stops making sense, okay? And that's a really hard line for me because I know the mind plays games, and I know that there's a difference between things not making sense and things not getting me to my goal, and then me just justifying wanting more food or wanting to do that. And so I come up with these excuses. And so there are those points where I make a decision, and it's really hard for me to make because I do feel like a quitter. I do feel like I'm giving up, but that's not the case in this regard, and I need to remember that. And I think that me venting about it on here and having you guys for accountability, which I love the family that I have. I love the Keto Road fam. I love all of you so much. And so it's awesome to be able to kind of talk about this, and hopefully you learn something from it. So let's talk about the backwards diet in general. Let's talk about pros and cons over the past almost 2 weeks. So a pro is I definitely have lost weight. I've definitely lost body fat. I'm definitely leaning out. I will be doing a body check still on Saturday because I'm not technically not dieting this week. I'll explain that, what I'm going to be doing in here in a second. But all in all, like, I'm losing weight. I'm good. I feel good. I feel leaner. So that's a good pro. Another pro is calories do go up every week. So really the hardest week is the first one, which is nice. That part is nice. You also have refeeds every week, which is nice. For someone that is trying to lose 10 to 15 pounds and they're just like, seldomly active resistance training 4 to 5 times a week, they might be doing cardio 3 or 4 times a week. For someone like that, like the average Joe that just wants to get an extra 10 pounds off before summer, this could totally work for them. A quick 6-week diet, done, right? I definitely think that it has weight, and I think that it has value in particular situations. What I have come to realize fairly quickly is that it's not good for my situation. Now, let me explain. One thing that I didn't take into account is the fact that I'm endurance training right now. I've never endurance trained. I've never ran 40 miles straight in a week in my life. Like, I've never done what I'm doing right now. And so I'm still learning like how that works, right? With like strength training and working out while also running. And it's different. Like, I've had to pull back on my strength training. And it's funny, this is my first week only doing strength training 3 times a week. And just today, with a bad hip, I ran my best progression run I've ever ran. Like, ever. And I was totally stuck on the fact that my weight was causing me to be slow. But yet today I had a fantastic run. And really, I haven't lost enough weight for that to make a big significant difference. The biggest change is I pulled back on my strength training a little bit. And I've been really focusing on my stretching. And it's really helped. And so things like that are so new to me. And it's just like that with calories and dieting. While being an endurance athlete, it's very different than being a bodybuilder. And what I mean by that is, like, so when you're prepping, it makes sense. Like, you have a certain weight loss goal and you want to get there as efficiently but as slow as possible to preserve muscle. And so you slowly lower calories, and then you reverse diet out of that. And at one point you'll be anywhere from a 500 to 1,000 caloric deficit from your maintenance, right? Because you go really low to get really shredded, which makes sense. And it's very much what I'm used to doing. I've been dieting like that for 4 years. I didn't do that when I was in high school, but since I've become a meathead, when I cut, I always start at like 2,600, and then I'll get down to like 18 or 17 or something like that. And then obviously I've learned and adapted the reverse diet process through Robert and just doing it myself with my clients, and it's worked really well. What I had to understand and what I learned really quick in the past week and a half is that bodybuilding diets do not apply to endurance athletes. And what do I mean by that? I mean, I understand that, like, so a bodybuilder is also going to slowly taper up cardio while they lower calories, right? So, they might be doing Stairmaster once a week at the very beginning. And then by the end of it, they might be doing Stairmaster 4 or 5 times a week, maybe even 6 if they're really trying to push it. I went into this diet running 40 miles a week, okay? And strength training as hard as I strength train. And being an active individual. And I tanked my calories by probably, I think now that I actually look at it, I was probably eating 32, 33. So you're talking 1,300 calorie deficit I tanked to. And it showed. I lost 2.7 pounds of body fat, which is good, right? But that means I was in a very deep deficit. And the thing about endurance training is that your body doesn't handle that well. Your body doesn't handle that well at all because of the amount of stress you're putting on it. And you go that deep into a deficit, your body starts to fight back rather quickly. I mean, I'm 10 days in and I'm already having to wear beanies because I feel cold. And food is becoming an obsessive thought again, which I don't like. And so because of those reasons, I'm not going to stay this low. I am going to increase my calories. The way that apparently from what I've understood it's supposed to be done for endurance athletes and what I'm going to try is basically you stay at a 300 to 400 calorie deficit. So if my maintenance is 3,000, then I might stay at 2,600 for 2 or 3 weeks. And then I go back up to 3,000 for a week or two. And then I'll go back down and shift back and forth until I hit my weight loss goal. That's how it should be done as an endurance athlete. That way you minimize the chance of fatigue and you can maximize recovery while still getting excess weight off. That's how it should be done from an endurance athletic perspective. Obviously that's new to me. I've never done it like that, but that's what we're going to start doing. But yeah, so the backwards diet from my situation doesn't work. And again, that's me. The backwards diet, the thought process is based off of the bodybuilding procedure of dieting and then reverse dieting, right? That's where the backwards diet comes from, is the diet being one huge reverse diet. So in theory, it makes complete sense. But in theory, it also is revolved around a bodybuilding mindset, whereas that just doesn't work for endurance training, right? And not that endurance people need more food because they burn more calories. It's just the type of activity. It's just a different extreme, and that's okay. And so that's something that I'm learning. I'm learning day in and day out. I had a coffee with Coach John with Keto Savage Robert Sykes this morning. And I was telling him, sometimes I'm an extremist, but I don't calculate the risk. And I'm still learning that. I should have calculated the risk, but obviously I didn't know. I was very ignorant I've never dieted while running 8 miles 5 times a week. I had no idea what was going to happen. It was very negative. I don't like the way it feels at all. And so basically what we're going to be doing is yesterday I ate around 23. I was at 22 on Monday. Yesterday, I ate around 23. Today, I'm going to hit around 24. And then probably after my refeed, I'm going to go to 26. And I'll hold 26 for the next 2 weeks or so. And then I'm going to go back to 3,000. Somewhere in there, maybe do some weeks of intuitive eating, rebalance, and then maybe go back down to 2,600. So I'm not too worried about it. And that's another thing, too, that I started thinking about. And I need to do a What is Health episode on it. But if we look at the grand scheme of things, I stopped dieting in April. The end of April, May, June, and July. So 12 weeks of reverse dieting. So out of the 12 weeks I reverse dieted, and I've only been at maintenance for 3 or 4 weeks. I have no business dieting right now. I don't even know why I thought about doing it. And granted, I don't expect any of you guys to stop me because I get it. You probably want that too. We all do it. We get back up to maintenance or whatever, and we're ready to diet again. And the truth is that our bodies don't work that way. Especially when we've done some damage metabolically or we've been dieting for a while. I lost 50 pounds in 6 months. My hypothalamus is still sensitive to calorie restriction right now. And it's probably why I feel the way I feel. On top of the stressors, I've seen studies and evidence, and I want to do a What is Health episode on this, like I said. The hypothalamus has a backlog. And unless you go 6-7 months at holding a certain weight, your body is still stuck on what you were doing 2 months ago, right? And it's prepared to go back to the settings that it was at to handle that issue. In fact, it becomes really efficient at it. And so I really feel like doing this, my hypothalamus kind of it turned on those pre-existing settings from when I was dieting, and it was like, oh no, I know how to fix this. So I really think, and I think that like it hindered my run on Saturday, and I think that's why I hurt my hip. I think there's other things too, like stretching and mobility, but I do think that played a part. Because like today, I don't weigh that much less, but I've been stretching. I took 2 days off, and like I said, I ran my best run I've ran, progression wise ever. Like it was easy. It was a nice run, and that had nothing to do with weight. That had everything to do with mobility and things I didn't even think about. I was just so focused on thinking that the weight was holding me back. And granted, I still do have excess body fat that I could get off that will make me faster, but I'm starting to see the bigger picture. And so I'm glad that y'all are on this journey with me. This endurance training stuff is crazy. I'm pretty sure like 2 or 3 years from now, I'm going to be a freaking expert at this. I'll probably even be coaching people on it because I want to, because I like it. I like the progression of endurance athletic training. And I would love to help people with it on a ketogenic diet, but it's a constant learning experience. I'm constantly learning new things. I'm constantly trying to figure out what works best for me. And yeah, so that's where we're at. In terms of diet, I'm sticking mostly to meat and bricks, just because they have a lot of stearic acid. I'm not doing nut butters at all. I haven't done nut butters the past 2 or 3 days, even though they're there, and almond butter does wink at me from time to time. And I have like nuanced things like Shrew Foods, protein bites, and things like that. But nutrition is on point. Everything else feels good, man. I'm just, that's where I'm at. And I think that it's important that we analyze where we're at, our goals, and how that reflects on a risk that we're about to take. Yeah, it's an extreme, but extremes still have to be sustainable, right? So is the extreme that you're trying to do sustainable for your lifestyle and for your goals? And I'm finding that doing this for where I'm at is not smart. And so for that reason, I'm done. However, I do think that it can work for people. And I think that it can be a really good tool. So if you're interested in being coached through a backwards diet, you know where to find me, www.theketoroad.com. That's it for this video though, guys. I love y'all. Put any questions and comments in the question box below, like the comments. Like I wanna discuss this with you guys. Maybe y'all have more questions about it. Let me know. Again, share these videos, like these videos. I have a goal of 10,000 followers or 10,000 subscribers before the end of 2020. That's a huge goal. I only got like 5 months to do it, but I think we can. I think we got this. So I love you guys. Till next time.